This is one of those moments, like you acknowledge with Brady, you're like, okay, he's good. Okay. It is time to acknowledge the turbo button for LeBron. It works. You only get bits and pieces of turbo, but the season is over. AD is grimacing in warm-ups. It's over. Like you can acknowledge it. The season is over for the Lakers.
Well, let me ask you a question, Colin, because I just heard you talking about all these gambling lines. And by the way, you don't have to go to Fox Bet to make that Knicks-Hawks bet. You can just make it with me. I'm going to be in the Garden tonight. The Knicks are going to win. There'll be no vig. You and I can handle that off the air. I agree with you on Clippers-Mavs, by the way. But do you think, because the Lakers are favored for Game 6, do you think the Lakers can win Game 6?
No, I don't.
Do you think they can win that game in Los Angeles?
No.
You don't?
No. I think that groin strains do not get better in 3 days. They don't.
Oh, I agree with that. I think they can win Game 6 without Anthony Davis. Listen, yet I was very wrong about Game 5, which is why I'm so glad to be on with you, because not only are you my mentor, but you have much more experience about being very wrong than I do. So I hope you can help me work through this, because this is kind of new, uncharted waters for me. I was wrong about Game 5. I thought the Lakers would be desperate. They were not desperate. And the more I thought about it, it made sense. Now, the Suns played great. They had 4 turnovers the whole game. The AD doesn't play. Schroeder gives you 0 points. KCP gives you 0 points. LeBron didn't play particularly well. Booker had 18 in the first quarter. Suns deserve all the credit in the world. But I think the Suns also understood something. They were the team that had to win last night. That was on their home court. The Lakers' second best player was not there. And if they lost last night, their best case scenario was a Game 7, which LeBron hasn't lost a Game 7 in 13 years. So the point I'm making is this. I think you are, writing the obituary.
Yes.
When the team, while, is not in great health, I don't know that they are quite dead yet. And so I do think they will win on Thursday. And then it's a Game 7 and one team has LeBron, the other team doesn't. And one other thing about this turbo button thing. Now, maybe LeBron's ankle is way worse than I am giving it credit for. But we are less than 9 months removed from him dropping a 40, 12, and 7 in an NBA Finals game. We are less than 3 months removed from him being the favorite for this season's MVP. So I do feel like we are writing the obituary a tad bit early, no matter how great the Suns looked last night and how terribly the Lakers looked. But we'll see. I'm wrong this morning. Maybe I'll be wrong Friday. Or maybe Friday we'll be talking about a Game 7.
But it is interesting. I think both of us agree LeBron leaving the bench doesn't mean anything. So I'd like to pivot to the Anthony Davis discussion. Is that because we don't watch bad NBA teams? I mean, most people in this league have not watched Atlanta until now, right? We don't watch Memphis until now. So we didn't watch AD in New Orleans. Okay, and then Laker fans last year see him and go, oh, he's just amazing. But he got a 4.5-month hiatus. So he was incredibly healthy. If you go look at AD, he missed 18 games as a rookie when he was 19 years old. 21.
A lot of nicks and bruises.
So I look at this and I say this, and Joel Embiid we saw the other day. Aren't you concerned? I mean, they're not going to trade him, but this is now what he's become, Nick. He's available occasionally. That's his game.
So the thing is I feel like you knew with Anthony Davis that you can't count on him to play 78 games, that he's going to miss time in the regular season. But to his credit, now New Orleans wasn't in the playoffs a ton, but he had prior to 96 hours ago played 37 out of 37 career playoff games. He had never missed a playoff game. And he was fighting through stuff, and after a bad Game 1, played really well in Games 2 and 3. And then the groin strain, and now he's not there for Game 5. I do think it's a concern. Listen, he has been a guy that has always been banged up. Like, the difference with Embiid is Embiid had major injuries, right?
Yes.
Like, and that knocked him out for the first 2 seasons of his career, or have been Anthony, it's never been that until this year where he missed a long time with the calf and then the Achilles. It's always been little stuff like this. A back that knocks him out for 10 days, a groin strain, those things where it's a lot of nagging stuff to where you are concerned about how available he is going to be. Obviously, to win the championship, they need Anthony Davis. Maybe even to win a Game 7 in Phoenix, they could need Anthony Davis. I don't think they have to have him to win a Game 6 in Los Angeles. But I'm also, can I say one other thing about last night's game? The starting lineup for the Lakers, Colin, not only had they never started a game together, those 5 men had played 0 minutes of basketball together in their life.
Yeah.
It was the first time that lineup has ever been on the court together. I don't know what galaxy brain decided start the Game 5 of the playoffs with it, but it seemed odd to try out a new lineup never before seen in a playoff game, but that's what Vogel did.
Okay, you've been highly critical of the Celtics and this whole draft picks, but I said this morning, the
Ponzi scheme is how I
the Ponzi scheme. Now, Philadelphia Sam Hinkie was nonsense. I mean, they essentially, as the league was evolving to a shooters league, they decided let's just draft the tallest college basketball player year after year after year. Like they couldn't even figure out the basics, the analytical part, right? But the media thought Sam Hinkie was smart and bought into it. Blah blah blah. My argument with Danny Ainge was he made 2 great deals. First of all, he got KG to Boston. And then as he was rebuilding them, they missed the playoffs 1 time. He got some bad breaks. Kyrie rejected the city. Gordon Hayward breaks his ankle 5 minutes as a Celtic. Jaylen Brown gets hurt this year. And let's be honest about it. A lot of guys don't want to play in Boston. That's the reality of Boston. They need to draft another Jason Tatum. They're probably not going to get him on the free agent market. But you would reject that. You just think Boston's totally overvalued and this has all been nonsense.
I just think Danny Ainge did a really poor job. You're right, he got Kevin Garnett there, and it helped that the buddy that he won championships with was running the team Kevin Garnett played for, and he gave him to him. Kevin McHale really got Kevin Garnett there, and they won a title. And credit to them for that, and credit to Ray Allen and Paul Pierce and KG, 3 Hall of Famers, Ray Allen will be one day, for winning that title. And then after that, he had, it's like a guy who went to the casino and hit $1 million on his first ever slot pull. That was the trade with Brooklyn. Such a heist that nothing else ever seemed good enough. So then after that, after you just pull off this epic heist of Brooklyn, you never want to put your chips in the middle of the table because you're not going to win every trade 99-1. And so every year we had to hear the Celtics were this close to Kawhi Leonard.
Fair.
And then the team that traded for him won the title. They were this close to Anthony Davis. And then the team that traded for him won the title. Oh, they finally made a move. They got Kyrie. He's going to hang his jersey in the rafters. He couldn't wait to get out of there. Even this year at the trade deadline, they were this close to Aaron Gordon. Instead, they got Evan Fournier. It was a whole bunch of, we are always building for the future, the future. And now you wake up and it's like, oh, okay, so in my own conference, the Bucks' best player is better than mine. The Sixers' best player is better than mine. The Nets' best 2 players are better than mine. So where do I go? What's my next big move? Oh, I know what it is. Let me go give Kimball Walker $100 and some million for a guy who's my height. He's 6 feet nothing, and he's got a bum knee. Let me let Gordon Hayward walk for nothing. Those are bad moves. They've won 1 championship since the fall of the Berlin Wall. I don't think he's done a great job.
Always love your historical political references. This is all very good stuff for Nick Wright today, co-host.
That's how most people measure titles, is post-Berlin Wall, pre-Berlin Wall. It's just standard. Colin.
What?
Colin, will you just make me one promise?
Sure, what?
Sleep on the idea of going against LeBron Game 6 at home with his season on the line. Just sleep on it. Leave yourself a little wiggle room. And text me what you want to bet on the Hawks, because I'll take it. Those 2 things. I need you to do both.
All right. Well, we can consider that after the show. All right. Nick Wright, great stuff. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.